Hello everyone, this is Jalapeno. I bring you the first in a long series of Let's Play videos to showcase the new 1.6.4 Eaveecraft business server. A lot has changed in this, if you guys have not been aware. So without further ado, let's get started. Now first of all, what you're seeing here is effectively our impromptu spawn. We're in the middle of creating something a heck of a lot more fancier, but this is where a new player would log in right now, if you were to log in today. The first thing you want to do is find a place to build, obviously. So the easiest thing to do is you can either run around, or do what I do, is you type newestregion. This command will be at the bottom of the video as well, so you don't need to write it down. What this will do is it basically picks a spot in the world that doesn't have a lot of other people around it. It doesn't mean there won't be anyone there, but it'll be relatively open for you to be able to start building quickly without having to spend 30 minutes running around looking for a spot to build. So I type that in, and here we go. Fresh new spot. I don't see anyone anywhere, so I'm not a big fan of living in the desert, so I'm going to move a little bit. Try to see if I can find myself something a little bit more appealing. Over in the distance, you'll see cherry blossom biome. I love this biome. The trees, they grow relatively quickly. There's a lot of wood that comes from them. And it's one of those biomes that doesn't generate any weird mobs, so it's relatively safe. So I think this is going to be a great place for me. And there's a little cave in there. That's going to be a nice place for mining. Oh, and there's some rubber trees here. And a skeleton. We'll just avoid all of those for now. This looks like a relatively good spot. So the first thing I'm going to do is kill the zombie. Simple enough. And I'm going to type in the command sethome. This will set it up so now I can use the /home command at any time to warp back here. Or if I happen to die, this is where I'll respawn, so I don't have to find this place again. So obviously the first thing anyone does when starting a new place is I gotta cut down some trees. Now you'll notice this tree is taking a little longer to chop. That's because we have a mod on called Tricapitator, which what it does is it chops down the entire tree when you chop down one block. So as you can see, everything has fallen and now stacked together. So it makes cutting down this stuff so much easier because, I mean, a simple little tree where it's only 4 or 5 stacks up might be one thing, but when you're dealing with a tree this large that branches out like that, it becomes a real pain without fly to be able to cut all that down. So, cut down another tree here. Now one thing to note is that the length of time it takes to cut down the entire tree like this is directly proportional to the actual size of the tree. So you'll see there's some rubber trees here that I can cut down. You'll notice it's breaking a lot faster than the cherry blossom trees does because the rubber trees are relatively small. Better take care of the skeleton. But when you're looking at the cherry blossom trees, because there's so many more blocks and leaves, it takes a lot longer to chop it down. That's just a balance issue. Now, of course, if I have something besides a stone axe, I'll be able to chop down even the bigger trees a lot faster. So, getting started here. Now, usually, if you're just starting out, normally you would create only one crafting table. I like to create 2 or 3, simply because of the fact I convert them into crafting stations. Now, this is from the mod Tinker's Construct, and they work relatively the same way a crafting station does. The main difference is that when you put something in there, and you leave your inventory, it actually stays in the station. So you don't have to constantly be carrying around stuff where you might, be missing one or two items to finish a recipe. You don't have to keep redoing the entire recipe. So, now the first thing I'm going to want to do is actually claim the spot. Claiming does a few nice things. Primarily, it prevents griefing. So, we use a plugin called Grief Prevention. Really, all you need to know is two things. The first is that the first wood chest that you put down claims your first spot in a 10 by 10 grid. So I'm going to put this down here, and now you'll see these gold indicators here. This indicates my claim. So anything within here is mine. It's protected. Someone else comes by and tries to break my chest or access my crafting stations, they won't be able to. Now anything outside of here, like if I was to place a chest here, is accessible. So you have to be really careful with this. Now to expand these claims, I'm going to need a gold shovel, which I don't have yet, but once I do, I can increase these claim sizes to pretty much however size that I want. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of my inventory, and I'm going to do a little bit of mining. Now, without any armor, it's a little dangerous to be running around here at night. We have a number of mobs that are a lot stronger than the average vanilla mobs. So you have to be really careful running around without armor at night. I definitely wouldn't be doing this if I was carrying around, stacks of ores or diamonds or anything else that would be really hard to replace at this stage in the game. So, I found a nice little cave that I'm going to start my my business endeavors in. I don't have too many torches, but this is more than enough to get myself started. Some coal here. This is all standards. So you may have noticed that my video suddenly jumped around there for a second. I'm trying out some new recording software, and it totally derped on me. And I didn't notice till I had mined a bit more cobble and coal. Haven't done anything else than that, so we're just going to continue this. Now, I'm not going to wind up going too far, simply because of the fact that I'm really not prepped for any potential dangers that might be around, and it's more important to me to start getting some of our basic structures up than anything else. So some iron, we all know what that does. Let's try this way. I typically don't get too much coal. As nice as it is, I rarely use it until, closer to mid-level in the game. It just simply, I tend to use charcoal because of the Tricapitator system. This is copper. Copper is used a lot for the Eaveecraft mods, as well as I can't even think of the other mod. Well, I do know it's used a lot in Tinker's Construct too. We use it for a lot of brass. But IC2 is probably where we're going to be using the majority of our copper for the time being. So we need a fair amount of this. Now I'm hoping I can find some quartz. Quartz is something that comes from Applied Energistics, and just some server saving lag there. So Applied Energistics, and it's basically intended for electronic storage and some mass automation, and you'll probably see that in a further video once we get a little more advanced in our build. What you see here is marble. You probably recognize this if ever you played around with the Red Power 2 mod back in 1.4. We're running a mod called Project Red, which is basically a revitalization of that mod. It doesn't have everything Red Power 2 had, but it's got all the important stuff. So you'll probably see some of the gems from them as well in here. this, I believe, is lead ore. Yep. And it is much more important further down the line, but right now it's not that important to us, so I'm not going to spend too much time worrying about it. Now, the reason why I'm digging in these little pockets is there are plenty of times when you come to a dead end in a cave. Sometimes it's just there's an entire other expansion of the cave, you know, just further beyond a wall. Happens significantly in mine shafts, but apparently not there. So, there's some uranium. I need at least an iron axe in order to get that, so we'll skip that for now. And speaking of iron, now oddly enough, iron is insanely important, but we actually don't need a great amount of it to start. The revisions done to Eaveecraft don't put so much strain on iron requirements. It typically winds up being more rubber, copper, and tin actually is used quite a bit in the early game. Quartz, or I should say the marble here, is not really all that useful in terms of functionality, but it's a great looking block, so if you're one of those people who love to decorate their homes, it's the way to do it. I'm not sure who Hippo Burger is, but hello. Oh, and he's giving me an emerald. So, since I'm pretty much dying for now since my pickaxe broke, I am going to slash him back to my spawn spot into the middle of a thunderstorm. And a zombie! Got a mini boss here. The guy throwing potions around is one of our new mods called Infernal Mobs. Infernal Mobs basically soup up normal monsters. If you manage to kill them, they actually drop some really good loot. Usually some sort of enchanted. But all the stuff attacking me, and no armor, and just a stone sword, it may not do too well. The nice thing is at least it's daytime now. So if I just wait them out, that helps too. Alright, and I got a Power 1 bow. Now, as I just noticed, I appear to still be in God mode, which I just put myself in while I was trying to figure out why the heck the recording program wasn't working. I'm going to quickly fix that, and I will be right back. Alright, so I'm back, and I am no longer cheating. As you can see there, it says God mode disabled there in my chat. So now we can actually do this properly. Alright, so I've got a little bit of water now. The first thing I'm going to do is set myself up with a furnace. Primarily because with furnaces, I need to start getting charcoal, get more torches, and start digging a lot deeper. I usually build 2 furnaces to start. Typically I won't need more than that, because by the time I start getting into more advanced things, I will be using some IC2 stuff. And some more wood. Normally when I build out a spot, I usually don't replant trees too close to where my spawn is going to be, simply because of the fact that monsters typically like to spawn around trees. And it also gives me a little bit more of a good line of sight at nighttime, you know, make sure I'm not going to wind up getting ambushed. Also helps when you got a skeleton in the middle of the day hiding underneath the trees. Getting rid of those certainly helps that sort of thing from no longer happening. Alrighty. Now, as far as powering the furnaces go, you can see on the tooltip it tells you how much power these things typically use. It's not really a perfect ratio as far as fuel goes in a vanilla furnace, but it's a good indicator of how much fuel a particular item is worth in almost anything. So in this case, wood planks are 750 EU each. Now, if you notice, if I just look at the wood, it's the same amount, which means that if I take a piece of wood and convert it into a plank, I get 4 times the amount of fuel out of it than I would have if I was just burning wood on its own. Sticks, on the other hand, are 250 EU. Now, I get 4 sticks per 2 pieces of wood that I use, which basically boils down to sticks actually produce less fuel than what a plank does. So when I start actually burning fuel, I'm going to want to create wood planks. For now, though, I want to create myself another axe, because I'm sure I'm going to use this one up shortly. And I'm going to get myself a few pickaxes. So everything stays in there. Alright. World saving lag again. It's only happening right now because we just started this map, so there's a lot of world gen happening. And what happens with the world gen is every time a new chunk is created, the first saving of that chunk happens, you know, every 10 minutes or so. And with so many people running around, there's large batches of stuff being saved all at once. Once the map's been generated a little bit more, it won't be anywhere close to as bad as what it is right now. Alright, so we're going to create some planks. And then a little bit more logs, and we'll start making our first charcoal. sure some of you are asking yourself, why I've got plenty of cobble now, why am I not building myself a structure? That's pretty much because the first thing I tend to do is get my mining gear set up, and at nighttime I run off and mine, and then back in the daytime I come back and work out my base. A structure will be something that I will be building soon. However, because it's getting close to the end of the day here, I'm getting myself prepared to get as many torches and pickaxes as possible so that I can start digging down in the lower levels of the world and actually start getting some good items. Now I'm about to end this video before I start mining, but I haven't really taught you guys too much in this Let's Play. It's been all pretty much getting stuff started, so I'm going to quickly run around here a bit and kind of explain a few things to you. Now this stripy box here that you see here, just floating in the air, that's a beehive. That's part of the forestry mod, and bees are something we'll be getting into in a further video. The reason why it's floating in the air here is it was probably attached to a tree that I chopped down, and Truecapitator does not destroy these things. Now you can't destroy these things by hand. You will have to get yourself a bee net, I think it's called. Let's just check up exactly what it's called here. It might just be net. Oh no, it's a scoop. That's what it is. It's been a while. Scoop. Once you have a scoop, you can use that to get these and actually collect the bees that are inside. If you just destroy it as is, it's just gone. There's plenty different types of beehives out there, and we'll of course be going through all that when I get to that stage of the game. Let's see if there's anything else of interest around here. There's a different type of beehive. Now these plants that you're seeing here, these come from Pam's mod, or Eaveecraft, if you will. These are all different types of food and things that you can plant, you know, as opposed to just usual potatoes and carrots and wheat. Now what I have here is cotton. Cotton is not edible, obviously, but it actually has a really nice benefit that once you start growing it and harvesting it, you can convert it into string, which becomes incredibly helpful later on in the game, especially when you start working with bees. And this, of course, is another Pam's edition, which is fruit trees where the fruit actually hangs down once they're ripe. Now, these get cut down a lot faster. I believe it's with an axe. I could be wrong, it's been a while. But, yeah, if ever you are just in need of food, you can always look for trees that have this sort of thing. Just collect them, and then that's free food for you. It does not heal for a lot on its own, but there are a lot of recipes that you can make out of these things that will actually give you a lot more health. Now if I wanted to start an orchard, I actually could cut these down and take the saplings and plant them elsewhere, and that will also give me those same types of trees if I want an ongoing food source. I'm more of a meat eater in this game. I tend to be a carnivore, so I will probably wind up setting up a meat factory at one point. Alright, there doesn't seem to be too much here on the surface, and we're running out of time here. So I'm going to end this video now. Just going to hit /home again, go right back to my base, and when I come back, we will actually start our deep level mining, and we can see all the new fancy ores and stuff that are out there. Thanks a lot. Take care.